Thank you very much, Gabriel, and thank you very much for this kind invitation to your excellent event. It's my great pleasure to be here and great pleasure to listen Ambassador Sopanda also on potential cooperations and the introductory pitches. And now I have a background as a former State Secretary for Energy and Climate Policy in traditional energy stuff that we already have heard about. I mean, cooperation potentially in terms of electricity, sector development, and natural gas cooperation. And I'm very happy to contribute to the discussion on those more traditional areas for energy for the two countries, but for the very introductory comments from my side, as now I am representing the Hungarian Battery Association, brings maybe a little bit of a new area for consideration for cooperation between the two countries that might also be relevant and also has a relevance regarding the green transition towards let's say net zero. By the two countries. And of course, maybe later I'm very happy also to comment maybe on the challenges, let's say, for the cooperation for the two countries. So now I'm representing the Hungarian Battery Association that I will a little bit talk about later, but would like to provide a little bit of background for why I brought this to the conference today. Well, in Hungary, as Romania, as the EU, we are committed to reach climate neutrality by around this mid of this century, by 2050. And this graph is from the Hungarian National Clean Development Strategy that outlines the potential scenarios to move from the current 60 million tons of greenhouse gas emissions of the country towards zero by 2050. The green line indicates that without doing additional things, Hungary will remain as it is now in terms of emissions. So we need a tremendous effort to bring down these emissions towards zero, either along the orange or the green line. And we estimated that Hungary should invest about 3-4% of its annual GDP into making this transition in the coming years. So very consistent and high-level investment comparable to being a NATO member, I would say, or even more, is needed to make this big transformation from today up to 2050. But we think that this transition also brings very tremendous social benefits. And also, if you compare this expense or investment annually with the Hungarian energy bill of 5 billion in 2019, which is today much more, then you will see that it worth doing that. Now, in our plan, it turned out that the focus areas for policy action aiming at climate neutrality are such that are indicated in the first line here, electricity sector being number one area for action, but of course, greening the transport sector, improving energy efficiency, and also finding renewable heat solutions are the, let's say, critical areas for action. But we have areas where the supporting technology is also very important. Second line, especially as already it was mentioned, developing the hydrogen economy, but also developing sustainable high efficiency batteries or energy storage options to support also electricity sector decarbonization and transport sector decarbonization through e-mobility. Already today, what we experience in Hungary, that in the last 5 years we have seen a exponential growth of photovoltaic installations in renewable generation. Now we are up to almost 3.5 gigawatts already, but the system operators started to complain and say, stop, we are on a dangerous path. We need flexibility, more flexibility in the system. So let's talk about storage options and batteries. Now, in this regard, this country can provide some some encouragement also to our neighbors. In the last 4 years, the major North Korean battery companies like SK Innovation and Samsung SDI started their operation in Hungary, and more recently CATL, which is the largest battery producer of the world from China, they decided to put 7 billion euros into an investment at around Debrecen to produce batteries and build up something that is a quite unique potential e-mobility industrial cluster in Hungary. So that's a lot of things going on in this respect in Hungary. And this is just a map indicating the seriousness of this development in Hungary recently, showing that in Hungary the most recent estimate is that we might have about 220 gigawatt hours of battery cell production capacity in the country by the end of this decade, which might add up to even 1/4 of the estimated EU demand by 2030, which is about 1,000 gigawatt hours. So it's significant. And also cities that are very close to the Romanian border, I have to say, Debrecen is a special case, indicating that BMW now come to Debrecen to start to produce e-cars only. And then CATL will settle down here, also EcoPro producing other components for batteries. So a fairly significant industrial cluster is to develop very close to our common border that might open up cooperation opportunities. So the next chart is just to indicate that it's not only battery production, but also different activities along the battery value chain that Hungary is now developing in this key technology for the future at different locations in the country that might also invite cooperation from your side. Now, in this country, the government developed a specific strategy to provide a future policy framework to support developing this industry value chain so that the Hungarian value added might increase. As you see, the rest of the foreign investors are from Asia. So, of course, we want to promote Hungarian companies to take part in this story. But, of course, this is a growing pie, so I don't see much space for competition in this regard. It's rather, I think, a cooperation opportunity also for Romanian companies to contribute to this, because this is a tenfold increasing industry in the coming years, at least according to the current estimations. Now, the Hungarian Battery Association that I represent today is the association that was founded in last December. Now we have more than 50 members, 15 more in pipeline. We have all the major companies interested in this industry. Now we are full European Battery Alliance members. Also, and promote information exchange, networking, developing policy recommendations, training in this area, and also work very closely with the government on how to make this industry development as clever as possible or as smart as possible. Although of course this is not very easy. We have working groups. We also invite companies to join, and really with a focus on growing value added through these activities. Maybe I don't want to go into the details because I run out of my time. My point is that I think this is an area which is very relevant for green transition, but also very relevant for one of our key industries, where we have a common situation and a common challenge. According to the information I download. Maybe this is not the most recent one, but the message is true that for Hungary and Slovakia, the car industry is a critical industry defining its economic performance. The case is even serious for Romania. I was a little bit surprised, by the way, when I saw the numbers. I thought that Hungary is more exposed, yeah. But you are also exposed, and I think what we see today is a huge transformation of the car industry in Europe from intercombustion engines to e-mobility, and I think our region, our countries should be successful in this transformation. Otherwise, we will lose a critical industry and their investors soon. So maybe that's an additional area for potential cooperation, relevant for energy, but also relevant for the car industry. I just wanted to expose this, but very happy to continue also with more classic or traditional energy issues later.
Thank you, Mr. Péter Kaderják, for presentation.